Hi, I'm
Hi
Wendy
there.
Green.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, CJ. And welcome to the Caregivers Bakery.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is going to be 30 minutes where you can put up your feet, feel nourished, and help build a community of caregivers that will be there for each other. And one more thing before CJ gets started. We love your comments. So when you're on our Facebook page and watching our video, ask us questions. Tell us that you love the recipe. Just say hi. We love to see that you're there.
And can they tag people also through that
You
comment?
can. Thank you, CJ. Yes, if you feel like somebody will benefit from this, you can put an ampersand sign and their name in the comment box, and that tags them, and then they can be told that they should look at this.
You are so tech savvy.
So tech savvy.
I got to tell you, though, that if I put my feet up, because my desk is so high, I'll fall over.
Don't do it then.
I'm just going to relax. That's what the community is. I'm CJ Golden, and that's Wendy Green. And this is a community that I have been wanting to build for several years. It's a community of caregivers who don't think they have enough time for themselves. You know how you're giving care to somebody and you have a friend or a family member who says, take time for yourself, dear.
Yeah, how do we do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Wendy, sometimes people do yoga or meditate or exercise or yeah, it's more like the triceps or run around the block. It's interesting that as a caregiver to my husband Joe, who has chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL, easier to say. And when they first discovered that, and they gave him the first medication that is usually prescribed for CLL, and it didn't work. And the white cells glommed together and clogged up his central nervous system and created devastating strokes. That was my caregiving beginning, really. And I mention that now because when people said to me, take time for yourself, dear, they did so in such a caring manner.
Absolutely.
But I didn't know how. I didn't want to take time away from being with Joe. I didn't want to take a walk around the hospital building because that would take 10 minutes. And I'd be neglecting him. I'd be deserting him. And I had a very good, intelligent friend who said, no, deserting Joe would be going off to Italy and living with George Clooney.
And was that an option?
I hoped it was, but it wasn't. But it did teach me, as we hope to share with all of you, that we do need to care for each other. We do need to care for ourselves. And to find ways. It's like, well, when I think of the Caregivers Bakery, I think of a group of caregivers getting together in a cafe and sitting back, having their coffee, having a baked goodie, and relaxing for a few minutes, or even if they're in their own kitchen.
Yeah, and let's say hi to some of the people that are here relaxing with us. So we have Betty Ellen. Hi.
Hi.
And my friend Gail, and your friend Kathy, and my friend Doris.
Cool.
So yay. Thank you all for joining us right now.
This is great. Oh, you have the list in front of you.
Well, you can if you look at comments, maybe you can. So one of the things that you thought about when you decided to start the Caregivers Bakery, CJ, was that a bakery has a recipe, and as caregivers, we have to be organized. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I do. But then after that, I want everyone to know your caregiver story.
Sure. Yeah.
But when we have a recipe, we have a bazillion steps and 5,000 ingredients sometimes. And we look at it and think, how can I find the time to do this? And the way to find the time to put together a recipe is to take it in steps and organize it and portion out what you can do then, what you can do this time, what you can do that time, when you can put it together. And that's the same thing with caregiving. We have a bazillion things we have to do, and we need to be organized and prepared. We don't wait for our loved one to have to get in the wheelchair and go to the bathroom. We don't wait for that last second. We prepare. We have the wheelchair ready. We know how to move that person from the bed to the wheelchair. We've already practiced that. It's the same sort of thing with steps. Wendy, you were a caregiver. What steps did you take? How did you organize? What did you need to learn to do?
Yeah. So I think, CJ, when we first talked about this, right? And I found out about the Caregivers Bakery when you were going to be on my show, and I saw it on your website, and I was like, I love that. So we decided to do this together. And I started to think, well, where did my caregiving journey start? And I think, like many of us, although we don't acknowledge it, my caregiving journey started as a young mom. And I happened to be a single mom. The kids were 2 and 4. And so I had to be very organized. I also had gone back to school. So, getting them up and to daycare and fed and all of that. But I also learned that I am a much better emotional caregiver than a physical caregiver. When the stitches had to happen, or the arms broken, or the lot of blood, that was not my strength. But I did it because as a caregiver, right, you learn to do that. I didn't really have to step in as a real caregiver again until my dad was sick and he went into hospice at home. And I came down from Virginia to be with my mother here in South Carolina. So I wasn't the primary caregiver, but I felt like I was taking a lot of stress off my mom by being there. And I was able to make my dad laugh and feel happy about things, and yes, there were times when he would fall and I was there to help him get back up, because she couldn't really do that. My mom is a small person, and lots of conversations. We had lots of conversations because we knew his time was limited. And having that opportunity was really important to me. And then my second husband, shortly after he retired, was diagnosed with bladder cancer. And that's pretty major cancer. And so we spent hours together sitting through the chemotherapy and meeting with all of the doctors. You certainly know about meeting with the doctors. Making sure that he got some nourishment, and after the chemo, he sure did not feel like eating, but trying to get him to have something that he could keep down. Just being there for support, because he would get so frightened about what was happening to him. So that was a long journey. He also, unfortunately, did not make it. Frank died on New Year's Eve of 2013. Yeah, So
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, right? Yeah. So that's been my journey, and I'm grateful. There's something about being a caregiver too, CJ, and you know this, to be able to have that kind of intense connection with somebody, to really
Yeah.
be there for them. It's a
Yeah,
powerful thing.
it
It's
really is.
emotionally hard, but it's powerful.
Joe and I discussed that certainly we love each other greatly, a great deal, but there was something about being with him in the hospital and then when he came home that it deepened our connection in a way that I can't describe.
Mhm.
It, yeah. Yeah, it does. It's difficult. You know what? We are a community. I'm going to throw something out now. Would our community out there go up to the comment box and give us your story and tell us what your tie to caregiving is, so we can share it. Obviously, it'll have to be a synopsis,
Right,
but
very short.
it'll be nice. It'll be nice to hear from others. Also, what steps you took, and this is important, what steps you took to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
When
and you know what?
take?
Also, maybe they would like to be a guest sometime, so you could let us know that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
we have Bunny says hi. I don't know if you can
Hi.
see these. Eleanor says hi. My mother, June,
Hi,
says,
June.
she says, and talking to me, and you kept learning. You were always well organized, but had to work hard to overcome emotional reactions. And I, your mother, can attest that you have done that now. Thank you, Mom. I didn't even tell about your little drama. And then Bunny says, I was my father's caregiver until his passing a few weeks ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Bunny. It's always so hard to lose somebody.
Wow. Yeah, I met somebody actually in the supermarket the other day. I was buying Malamars for Joe. He keeps eating Malamars and double stuffed Oreos, and he keeps his weight down. I eat grass,
You
and
eat
I keep
grass.
waiting. I'm the COVID-19 person here, um, and I needed someone's aid to reach the Malamars. I'm down here at not quite 5 feet, and they put the Malamars 8 feet up, and they only come out. I don't know if anybody knows, Malamars only appear on the shelves wintertime. I believe it's from
Oh,
October to March.
I didn't know that.
There was a reason in the beginning because it had to be shipped out, 100 years ago. It had to be shipped out when it was cold so the chocolate wouldn't melt.
Ah,
Now they do that just to keep up doing it. And I asked a gentleman who is next to me, I said, oh, can I borrow your height? And he reached up and grabbed some Malamars. And the woman he was with, who was most likely his mother, said, my mother died last week, and she had hordes of Malamars in her freezer. But
huh.
it's interesting, as you say, that there's something that reminds us or brings us back to, or how sad it is when the end finally comes.
Yeah.
Now
So
here's somebody, Bunny. Can you see
funny.
Bunny?
Uh-huh.
Baking was my sanity and escape. That and my Facebook page for bakers and cakers. Follow the bunny trail.
So cute, Bunny. We're gonna have to look for that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Bunny needs
Is
to
the
be.
Facebook page the bunny trail?
That's follow the bunny trail.
Oh, how fabulous.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that, and maybe you can be on a guest, Bunny.
That would be fabulous. Bunny, contact us after the show.
CJ,
Here's Betty. Hi, girlfriend. So happy to be here.
yeah,
This is
tell us more about Joe's story. you know.
Okay. Joe recovered. We didn't expect it. We didn't know what happened, but he did. And slowly, 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 he came back to us. Now, in 2016, he had his stroke. In 2015, he was riding his bicycle, not motorcycle, from San Diego to St. Augustine, Florida.
That's crazy.
The year before that, he was riding his bicycle up the Sierra Cascade Trail from Mexico to Canada. The year before that, he was riding his bicycle from, I think, from Virginia to Washington, no, to Oregon.
State. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in between, a lot of other 100-mile plus, hundreds and hundreds of miles. And then in 2016, I would cheer him on when he was home, when he managed to get his wheelchair from the bedroom to the kitchen. From cheering him on his bicycle to cheering him on in his wheelchair. And slowly, 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 he came back. When he was in the hospital, his dream was to go to Anna Maria Island, which is in Florida on the West Coast, off the coast of Sacramento, not Sacramento, off the coast of Bradenton.
Yeah.
And I contacted a dear friend whose husband had had strokes prior to Joe's. And I said, how do you travel? And here's where you have to do it in steps. And here's where you have to be organized. Gather your clothing, she said, put them in a carton, bring them down to the UPS store, and have it UPS'd to the hotel.
Brilliant.
Contact the airline and make sure they have a wheelchair ready for you when you get to the airport. And there were so many little steps that I followed like a recipe, and that is what got us to Florida. And Joe is now fine. He's good. But it was difficult. We all know that, right? And here's somebody, Kathy, who said, I cared for my best friend for 5 years, sharing our hobby, would play organ and keep our humor. After her passing, I grieved with her husband. My mom suffered from dementia and breast cancer, died a painful death. Her joy was visiting New Jersey from Connecticut, played our polkas, and colored her hair. Both are now my guides.
That's great. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that.
Yeah, Kathy, that's...
Yeah. And then June says, when the person you're caring for dies, not only do you lose someone you love, you lose your job that has consumed your days, years. So you need to find a new job. So she asks, what do you do now? How do I reinvent my life?
Well, that's interesting because, June, thank you. Boy, I can't wait to meet you one day. My job then became, because I'm a writer, I wrote a book about being Joe's caregiver. And then I went on a speaking circuit to help to bring some sort of information, some sort of comfort to other caregivers, to share with them our stories. And I was so pleased and proud to be asked to participate in a seminar, a group of caregivers from around the world presenting this seminar for a full week around the world via Zoom. I met some wonderful people, and one gentleman that I met, caregiver to his partner, his Chris McClellan, who has the whole care network, caring for people who we need to care for spiritually, emotionally, physically. Chris and I hit it off, and we created the Caregivers Bakery. And it never got off the ground because he was busy and I was busy. And then I took a few years away from caregiving and even thinking about it until I met Wendy. Whoop, she's over here. Wendy, as she said, found the Caregivers Bakery on my website. And she said, I want to do that with you. And now I know, June, what my job is. Had been after I finished having to care for Joe, and will be. My job is to be here and help support caregivers in any manner that I can. Through this broadcast, through more writing, through speaking engagements, however I can do it. And to have you all in the community of caregivers help us help you.
So because we're in a bakery and you are such
yes.
a wonderful caregiver, let's share your recipe.
Okay.
All right, so let me
We're
get that up.
Very exciting.
I know. First recipe.
There we go. Blueberry muffins with, look, with a typo in the beginning.
Oh, no, I know.
Oh, my blueberry muffins. Well, we're going to call them from now on. We're going to call them the blueberry muffins.
Exactly.
I'm not going to read what is on the screen because you can do that. I'm not going to list the ingredients because you'll see that. It will be posted, hopefully, if we can, as a file on our Facebook page, Caregivers Bakery, so you can download it. But I got to tell you, it's fabulous. It's so good. And you don't need to use blueberries. If you don't like blueberries, you can use strawberries. You can use peaches. You can use dried fruit. I guess chocolate bits if you want.
Yeah.
Frozen fruit, fresh fruit. The beauty of this recipe, and I was just going to tell you, the beauty of this recipe, and I will tell you how it came in handy yesterday because I wanted to make the blueberry muffins to show you all today. And yesterday, I got all the ingredients out. I put all the dry ingredients in a baggie. That was done. And then I got all the other ingredients where I could grab them easily. Well, thankfully, I did that. Because at that point, one of the workers who was here, we're in a new house and we're still fixing things up, was having trouble installing the doorbell. And he called me. And I helped. And I went back to the recipe and he called me. And I helped and I went back to the recipe and he called me. And then I realized I had a half an hour before I had to get Joe in the car and get him to a doctor's appointment. And in that half hour, I was able to, because the dried ingredients were ready, and because I had taken the butter out so it was room temp, I was able to do the mixing part. And I had the batter all ready. And I put it in the fridge. And when I came back from the doctor's appointment with Joe, all I had to do was scoop out scoop it out,
scoop out the batter,
the mix, the batter. Thank you. Scoop out the batter, put it in the muffin cups, and bake it. And I had blueberry muffins very comfortably for today. If I couldn't have baked them yesterday, would have baked them this morning. But that's the beauty of this recipe, because you can do it in steps, you can do it in your own time, and you can do it even if you keep getting interrupted.
Yeah, and that was a challenge because you had texted me yesterday saying, I'll put them in the oven right before the show so they'll come out nice and warm. And then, oops, found out you had to take Joe to a doctor's appointment
Yeah,
this
I had an
morning.
early morning doctor's appointment with them this morning again.
Pivot, and that's what we do, right? That's what we do. And all of our recipes are going to be structured so that you can do them in pieces. You don't need to spend hours and hours in the kitchen because you don't have hours and hours.
Exactly.
Right?
But I gave the recipe, I shared the recipe with Wendy.
Yes, you did. Let me stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
That recipe, like we said, will be on the Facebook
Okay,
page.
let's see if we can do this, folks. I'm gonna do this and bring it over to her, and she's gonna pretend that she got it from me.
I'm gonna do
Okay.
this. Didn't
Anyway,
work.
here's our muffins. In the last few minutes, I'm gonna chow down. Please, I'm at cjgolden.com. Wendy is at Hey Boomer.
Wendy at heyboomer.biz.
Wendy at
B-I-Z.
Okay, Wendy at heyboomer.biz, B-I-Z. Wendy at heyboomer.biz, cjgolden.com. We each have our own websites. We have our own Facebook pages. The Caregivers Bakery on our Facebook page. Please let us know what you would like to discuss. Please let us know. There are quite a few there that I can see would be fabulous, fabulous guests to share your caregiving story, to share your tips for caregiving, for share your recipes.
And I'm super excited, CJ, because the whole thing about this was to build a community of caregivers.
Yes.
And to share those nurturing recipes and to have so much participation in our very first show
Is wonderful.
Isn't that great?
I will share with you the thing that I have it on my speaker's sheet with a big piece, the picture with a big cake on it, that caregiving is not a piece of cake. We're here to help you find some sweetness.
We are. Hi, Linda. My cousin is on. Nice
I love
to see
that.
Linda.
Oh, here's Bunny. Bunny Pearson's. My site is bestcake.boz, B-O-Z. And here it is again, bestcakes@juno.com. So Bunny Pearson is at bestcakes@juno.com. And her website is bestcakes.boz.
Right.
Who else do we?
And so all of this will be on the Caregivers Bakery Facebook page. .biz, she said. And we will also, we just created the Caregivers Bakery. Hey, Linda. Mwah. We just created the Caregivers Bakery YouTube channel. So we're going to put it there too. We'll put a link to that on the Facebook page. And, share this with your friends, share this with your family. Let us know, like CJ said, what you need from this community. And we are so grateful that you all were here.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This is really great. We will grow together as a community. We will learn together as a community. We will support and nurture each other as a community. And we will help our spirits and souls grow emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
My name is Wendy Green.
And I'm CJ Golden.
And this has been the Caregivers Bakery. Thanks, CJ. Thanks, everybody.